Hello. Thank you for being with me today. I would like to apologize about the venue. I had some technical difficulties uploading the video, but if you'll bear with me a little bit, we will go ahead and get into the commemorative speech for our Founding Fathers. Who were our Founding Fathers? Well, it's been 233 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and a lot has happened. I would like to talk to you today about these great men, about the myths and legends surrounding them, about their education and their experiences, the goals of their revolution, and what does it matter to us today. Irwin Edwin once said it is myth and not mandate. It is fable and not logic, and symbol rather than reason by which men are moved. I would ask you if you've heard of the story of a young George Washington when asked by his father if he chopped down a cherry tree, and he responded, "I cannot lie." Or the midnight ride of Paul Revere, where he rode from hamlet to hamlet warning of the British invasion. Well, was there a midnight ride? Most assuredly. Was it done by Paul Revere by himself? Most likely not. He probably had help. Is the story of George Washington true? That's, again, it's a myth. It's surrounded in mystery. So why do we have these legends and myths and fables? Well, they were used to motivate and to inspire the people, make them better than they were, to make our Founding Fathers seem larger than life. But we owe it to them to know the facts. And this would be a good time to delve into their backgrounds. There were 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence. Most of them went to college, colleges such as Harvard, Yale, William and Mary, Princeton. These colleges are pillars of excellence even until today. There were 22 lawyers, 9 judges, 18 were businessmen, 4 were doctors, 14 were farmers or plantation owners, and there was 1 clergyman. 42 had served in their colonial legislation. These men had wide and diverse ideas on how government should be, but some still thought of themselves as British and didn't want to go the ultimate route of revolution. It took Jefferson 17 days to make the Declaration of Independence, but it took these men over 18 months to come to that point. But what was the point? Why risk death and ruin? Well, their goal was revolution. They wanted independence from England. They thought in the colonies they could make better decisions for themselves than somebody across the ocean when it took months for messages to go back and forth. They wanted freedom from bad government. They wanted freedom from kings and tyrants. But some even argued against a president that had power. They wanted a figurehead. They were so intimidated by a king. Their ultimate goal was the formation of limited government. They wanted to protect the rights of the citizens above and above all. But most wanted strong states' rights. Smaller was better. They wanted smaller federal powers. So what happened to these men? Well, 17 fought in the Revolution, 5 were captured, and some, like Thomas McKean, lost his fortune of ships in a British naval blockade. During and after the war, these men would prove the nucleus of the new government. There were 13 governors, 18 state legislators, 16 state and federal judges, 7 House of Representatives, 6 U.S. senators, 3 vice presidents, and 2 presidents. These men would prove the foundation of our government for generations to come. But what does it matter to us today? We need to be informed about their intentions. They fought and they died for this ideal. These men were smart. They didn't just come together and throw a bunch of ideas together. They worked hard for this document that was the basis of all of our laws. Freedom of speech, freedom from religion, from being told what to have, and the freedom to bear arms. Our framers studied history. They knew of Roman and Greek and European systems, and they borrowed a little bit from each to come up with something that's better, a representative republic. So how can we honor these men today? Well, we can keep the spirit of revolution alive by voting. Keep in mind that the framers had the ability to choose from several forms of government, but they chose this one. So vote. You've earned that right. Our framers were intelligent, they were driven, and above all, they were brave men who gave much, and some gave all, for this United States. And even though the myths and the stories are fine, we owe it to them to know the facts. They were intelligent, they were educated, and they had goals. They wanted to be free, and they wanted all men to be free. These men formed the nucleus of our government. And above all, you must vote to remember these men. I thank you, and I hope you have a good night.